Hey there, and welcome to the Fiihr Factor, the podcast that shines a light on real stories, smart strategies, and the occasional hard truth about running a business. Think of this as your quick dose of clarity before your first cup of coffee. Let's go. Okay, today I get the pleasure to interview a guy that's a friend. He's a client, and he's a very successful business owner, Matt May from KMR AV. How are you doing, Matt?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I thank you for taking the time. It's always, look, I know it's going to be tough for you because you have trouble talking. So
That's
I'm going to
right.
ask you to really stretch.
Very introverted.
So try to be a little more outgoing. We're going to have a fun time. We're going to talk about some business and what you do. So first of all, tell me about you and how you got started in this business. And,
Originally, when I was younger, I was into car audio. So I was the annoying guy behind you at a red light with the car bumping and always
yes.
loved speakers. And basically, I went to Texas A&M. That's a big thing for some people. It was for me anyways, but ended up doing an undergrad in psychology. And while I was there, I was looking at grad school and I started doing outside sales inside sales, selling cell phones for Verizon while I was in undergrad. And it was kind of the first thing I had done other than car audio where I really enjoyed it and I was doing well at it. So, long story short, I did consultative outside sales after college for a while, about 8 or 10 years, in the corporate environment, sales management. And then I was laid off in 2010 from a pretty good job. And I had been doing audiovisual on the side, setting up media rooms for my friends and myself, and always wanted to kind of do my own thing and never really knew how to step away. So the universe kind of helped me,
Yeah.
like being laid
Forced you
off in
into
a
it.
recession. And yeah, next day I registered the business, and the rest is history, I guess.
Holy cow. The next day
Yeah,
you didn't mess
no,
around.
I got laid off, I think on May 28th of 2010. And I registered the first DBA on the 28th or 29th, whatever the next day was.
It's awesome. Okay, so real bit quick though on your car audio and like
Yeah.
in high school, what were you doing? Were you doing the Alpine or what'd you have? What kind of sub did
JL
you have?
Audio,
What was your
Rockford Fosgate, Alpine, all that stuff. And it was cool because one of the guys that was big in the business, we're in a suburb of Houston in Katy, and it's still a pretty big place, but there was a guy that owned a shop and he did a lot of the Astros cards. So we would go up after high school or after school and we'd hang and kind of talk to them and get to meet some of the Astros and stuff. So the owner's name was Skip, and Skipper and I do projects together now, which is really cool.
Oh, you're
Yeah, he
kidding.
does custom acoustic treatments. So a couple of our home theaters, we've had him put those in. I mean, custom, like high end, and the starlit ceilings and stuff. So we've kind
Nice.
of rekindled and become buddies, and it's pretty cool.
That's amazing. Full circle.
Yeah,
That's really cool. So you started this business and you took a lot of think and plan, like about less than 24 hours,
yeah,
and you got your DBA.
yeah.
So what happened next?
Really, man. It was back in the day. It was like Craigslist, right? So it was if I can just make this amount every week, I can pretty much pay the bills. So that was the goal, just to get started. And it was printing out flyers on my home printer and sticking them on doors of high end homes and advertising on Craigslist for free. That was like a thing back in 2010. It's not so much now.
Yeah.
It's so it just kind of morphed from there. Back in the day, and around that time, a lot of the nicer track homes in these areas came with what's called media rooms, which is like a small home theater. So that really got us rolling. We would do, turnkey home theaters for these new homes. And we got, I guess, about 5 years into it, that was still a really big thing. So we were doing like three of those a week, three or four. So it was just kind of blowing and going and hustling and a lot of fun. But now that's not as big of a deal. And we've kind of morphed into doing more smart homes, full home automation, and then commercial audiovisual as well. We still do the theaters, but it's, it's lower volume and higher end, I guess is the best way to say.
Very nice. Very nice. And by volume, you don't mean volume. You mean
Oh,
number of
hey,
systems.
dad jokes accepted, man. I love it. Between you and me, people
So,
are going to be changing channels.
that's right. That's right. Well, we'll hold on to what we can. You talk about sales. Like, you went into sales, you started selling cell phones,
Yeah.
which doesn't really sound very much fun. How did you know you could sell, or how did you develop your sales acumen?
I mean, they had decent training, and hats off to them. I was in a college town, so for those who don't know, A&M is in College Station. It's a pretty small town relatively. Like it's literally named because when it started, the train would stop on its way to Bryan, Texas for college, and they didn't know what to call it, so that was College Station. Like that was
Really creative.
yeah. So Verizon Wireless opened a new store, and it was one of the few where you could do part-time sales. So the training was very good. I've never had, as we joked at the beginning, a really hard time talking to people. But that was more, inside sales to me is a lot different than outside sales. The customer's coming to you. That's such a warm introduction.
Yes.
But I was always like second or third top salesperson in the store. Usually we had a bilingual person that was always the top salesperson. So they had a little bit of a leg up because they, were bilingual. But yeah, so it was kind of the first time I think that I proved to myself that I was somewhat decent at sales. Outside of car stereos and, kid stuff, riding bikes and things like that. It was, I was making a decent amount of money working 24 hours a week and going to school full time and just kind of enjoyed it. So that was where I really decided I like being around people. I like trying to solve problems, which is really essentially what sales is about. So yeah, I went to switch my major to psych and was going to do therapy. Imagine how crazy that would be, right? So, and then just went into the corporate world and did sales. So it's been fun.
That's awesome. I like your mindset of sales is solving problems.
Yeah. So
That's
one of my outside sales jobs that I just absolutely loved the training. It was one of those where they fly all new hires to a big sales deal and they had consultants come in, and I mean, they're showing clips of Tommy Boy and I'm like, this is right up my alley. But they were very big on
nice.
the consultative approach. Be creative, really dig down and ask the customer questions and really find out what their pain points are and see if you can create a solution. So it was very customized, but also I like, most people or institutions have places where you can improve things and help with the economics of running the business. I mean, that's what you do, so it's fun, doing what we do. We also sell fun stuff, but it's really cool going from the design stage, sitting with the customer while we're looking at blueprints of their dream home before the dirt's even done being pushed over, or their restaurant or bar or whatever, and just throwing out some ideas and saying, if you could have it do this, would that work? Or what do you really want? And I think through that process of sales training in my earlier career, we really don't try to oversell people things. We're just digging and finding what's important. And granted, we're talking smart homes, home theaters, and stuff. There's not a lot of pain points like, oh man, my TV doesn't work. It's not like that, but it's trying to engage and listen to the customer and not, when you have zones of audio everywhere, they don't need $1,000 per speakers. There's a place for that, but anyways, most people buy because they're trying to they need to save time, or there's an efficiency issue, or with homes that it's something that they've always wanted, or they don't know what's available, and if you can make their life a little easier, that's all the better, right?
Yeah, and there's a real cool factor to
Yeah.
having a killer system watching college
Oh yeah.
football. Audio is such a big piece. It's a video, but the audio, hearing the crowd, in the stands and
Yeah.
having your friends over, like I can visualize that as like, yeah,
Yeah, and there's an altruistic side to the business too. When we go back to service a home theater, let's say, and there's all new decorations in there, and the family's like, Yeah, the kids bring all their friends over and play video games, or we have movie night once a week. That's pretty cool, having been a part of that, you know?
Yes. Yeah, totally influencing their homes. So how'd you get the name KMR AV?
So that's a funny story. We're in Katy, which is a suburb of Houston, and we were Katy Media Rooms, KMR. And then we started getting calls from the Woodlands or Galveston or the Hill Country. You guys come out here? We're like, yeah, we do. So, like everybody else, we're like, we needed it to be an acronym. So now it's knowledgeable, meticulous, and reliable, but based out of Katy. I don't know.
I like that. Knowledgeable, meticulous, and
Yes,
reliable.
sir.
So what do those mean? Like, what does that mean to me as a customer?
You know what? I've kind of, my partner and I have a partner at this point, but we've really narrowed it down. And for what it's worth, we both have in the state of Texas, you don't have to have a license to do what we do. We're not an electrician or an HVAC company or even a real estate agent. So I I wouldn't say we run into fly by night companies that do what we do, but for what it's worth, we're both college degreed and which isn't required. But going back to answer your question, so being meticulous, we're gonna take your your dream business setup, and we're gonna really focus down and try to get the concept of what you're communicating to us and do it right, do it better than anybody else. And speaking back to the meticulous, like we're not required to have certifications, but we go to manufacturers training and we get the best certifications. We're CDIA certified, InfoComm certified. So it's giving us a little bit of validity in our industry. And I think when you get to the homes that we do and the businesses we do, if you're not going to do it meticulously, you're not going to last. People aren't, general contractor isn't going to have you do a $500,000 job on a restaurant if you don't know what you're doing and you don't know the product inside and out and you're not a certified dealer or whatever. So it's just kind of trying to convert those letters into something that does align with our business purposes and policies.
That's awesome. Hey, you mentioned video walls, by the way, and you told me a stat about, I don't know what the stat was, like a bar can pay for a video wall, $30,000 video wall in 6 months or something like that. It's pretty incredible how having the right having the right video and atmosphere in a eating slash drinking establishment can be a game changer.
I mean, I would say like anything else, there's a level of expertise that you learn along the way, right? So I forget the number, but it's, what is it, 10,000 hours doing something, you become an expert in there.
Yep.
So 15, 16 years in, you start to learn. And again, by doing a correct discovery process and asking the right questions with customers, you become friends with them. They get to rely on you for things. You learn things from them as well. So, like anybody in a business, what's my ROI before I spend a dime? I got to know what does that translate to? Is it, even if it's just a customer experience, but when you're talking about a restaurant with a bar, bars have, anybody who goes to a bar and buys a drink versus buying it at a liquor store. I mean, there's a huge delta, right? So the profit is at the bar. So we've learned this by becoming friends with our bar owner customers or restaurants or whatever. You want butts in those seats as long as possible, because if they stay a little bit longer, and next door is another bar, right? So if they've got a huge screen and your favorite team is playing, where are you going to go to watch it? And when there's people there, there's more energy. So and it kind of speaks back to the meticulous thing. We do research. We go back and we're like, what is, when a customer, rightly so, or a prospect asks us, what's my ROI? This is a big purchase. It is. So the data that we've been able to pull and really dive into is this. These things typically are paid off within 6 months of increased profits. After that, now you're just getting increased profits, or even moving we had another customer where they have a band play on the weekend and they would play outside on the patio. And they started noticing like some people would hang out on the patio after they're done eating, but they're trying to rotate those tables. So every now and then the people would move to the bar or whatever. So we moved this audio plate to the bar where the band can now go to the bar and they can plug into this and pipe the audio throughout. And what that's resulted into is that people hang out at the bar longer. And it's like I think on average, Friday night and Saturday night, both. They're showing a over $2,000 a night increase in profits by having the band move from the patio to the bar because people
Wow.
talk and drink. And so we've always, my partner and I really tried to remain teachable as we go through this process, but also we have a level of expertise and we want to, if you own a business and we can increase your revenues and profits and you tell your buddy, well, guess what? Now we have another customer too, and we're still trusted in our industry.
That's beautiful. Okay, so you mentioned you have a partner.
Yes.
Obviously, I knew that, but talk to me about what's your success in partnership? Because I think you two have a great way of dividing duties.
Yeah, I would say, in 15 and a half years, there's been a lot of business decisions. That's probably the best one I've had. And going back to us trying to be teachable, a lot of our customers are very, very successful people. They become friends and trusted people. I can pick up my phone and call any number of business owners and with a question, hey man, what would you do? Or what did you do? And oftentimes I'll tell you, this is what not to do. I don't know what to tell you to do. I can tell you what not to do. So you hear the dangers and the scare stories of partnerships all the time. I went to kind of three of my top customers that I'm close with, and I kind of asked them, hey, I'm thinking of partnering. I got to a point where it's kind of too much to do by myself. I've put myself in a situation where I gave myself a job and that's it. Well, I don't want to be self-employed. I want to be a business owner, right? And we'll get to this. This is why you and I need to check it. But I was out of training for Lutron. I ran into a buddy of mine, Ben, also owns a business like mine, very intelligent, IT, certified centric guy. And we started talking and we were venting and we've been on projects together where we sub each other out. And it was like the light bulb went on. What if we could find a way to partner? I don't know how to do that, and then it led to, he talked to some of his customers. I talked to some of mine. And really the feedback and advice I got was if it's with the right person and you're very transparent up front, you define your roles, you try to get as much down on paper so you have a basis to go back to if you're in disagreement.
Yes.
The three customers I talked to, I mean, they're in 7-figure homes. That's how I know them. And they're like, I didn't have this until I became a partner. And I'm able to take a vacation and some time off. And we've really been able to scale. It's not easy. It's another relationship that's long-term. But anyways, that's what Ben and I did. And we found a way to do it. And it's been a really awesome experience. He was a friend of mine. And now I would say he's he is one of my very best friends. We lean on each other for so many things, but trusted business partner, absolutely. And he, this year, part of our growth and our scale and our plan was to really split it up. Like I'm sales and business development and he's production. So he runs all of our jobs. He's the PM. Obviously we have a lot of overlapping stuff, designing a system for a customer, but it's been a beautiful experience. And that's really, we're looking at things on paper and like the truth is we know how to be self-employed, and you and I talked about this just a little bit, but there's all these statistics, you start a business. What is it like the first year? 50% fail. By the second year, it's 80% whatever. So by the time we merge together, we're 13 years in each. Like some people think that's successful. To me, that was, we've been self-employed for 13 years. This is not where we could be. So when you opened it up, you said a successful business owner. For me, I'm like, I've worked for myself for a while. We're getting it. But the true value in making these decisions is I can't do all this on my own. He couldn't do all of it on his own. We talked to people because we're teachable. We got some great advice. We took the advice, wrote things down, got an attorney to draw up new business agreements, all this stuff, and went running with it. And the ability to scale is happening now. And a big part of that is hiring you and us being able to kind of split and take y'all's advice. If he'd rather be crawling in an attic while you're eating a fancy lunch with clients, by all means, that's what you have to do. So it's worked out a lot. And while some people, my wife, well, you run a successful business. No, I've got friends who've had companies doing what we do for half the time, and they're 3 times larger. What did they do that we're not doing? And I think the proof is in the pudding. I don't know how to scale a business to where it needs to be, but you do. So that's why we're here. And that's why I could go on forever, obviously, but ask me some questions about it. I'll answer. How's that?
Well, first of all, I love that. Thank you for the compliment. I really appreciate that your humility, first of all, and to say, hey, look, yeah, you call this a business. This right now is a job. It's growing into a business, and also the wisdom of seeking wise counsel, but then really saying, okay, if we're going to do a partnership, we're gonna write stuff down. We're gonna get very formal about this. We're friends. It'd be nice to remain friends. So let's figure out what the business part of that looks like. So that's brilliant. So I want to go first to something you said. You had a lot of business owners said that this is what you don't want to do. So what would you have done differently when you started or in the first couple of years?
So hindsight 20, right? If I could look back at Matt graduating college, I would have been like, dude, go start a business, learn everything about it, be teachable, and hire a business coach, get mentors. But yeah, so I would have done it sooner, but I don't have regrets because I learned a lot about sales. But there is some freedom in owning a business. There's a lot of stress too. There's the misconception, like, oh, you get to take off whenever you want. Okay, you go work 100 hours a week for a few years and see how that fits. But yeah, so I don't regret starting this process where we did a couple of years ago, or even really we started doing the business coaching about a year ago and really defined splitting those roles. But I would have done that sooner, but it's not a regret either because I see where it's going. Like the proof is in the pudding. Getting down and getting to sit with Ben and kind of write out and define these roles and how we were going to be partners was step one. And then about a year into that, because we both brought pretty big projects to the business, and that first year together, we're just knocking them out. And then, of course, that also means that marketing has gone down. The pipeline's getting full. We're turning around and we're hiring, a business coach, which there's an expense, and a marketing company, and all these things. So, the first thing was sitting down, writing on the partnership, but then learning from you and from other people that you coach as well. Like it's time to sit down and look at the business now. Let's write out a plan. Let's follow that plan. And we had a very elementary plan, but the ability to now block out time every week to actually work on the business, not in the business. And now I have that time because I have a partner. So not a great year for us revenue wise. Like we're down a little bit, and I hear that across the board, blah, blah, blah. But we had our last quarterly planning, and it's like we've been doing all these things. Well, then one of the things in that quarterly planning is answering all these questions and doing projections. And it's like, oh, dude, like 26 looks pretty rad. So I will say what we already have signed on the books, projects that are going to close in 26, is already about 20% higher than what we've done this year as a whole. And that's not including any new business on top of stuff that's signed and going to be ready to go. So I'm a numbers guy in data. So when you put in this effort and you're kind of promised that there's going to be a return, but then you start to see it, that's the light at the end of the tunnel. Like hear the business stories all the time, man. I threw in my last $5 and that was it. I crossed my fingers and I'm doing all this work, but then the miracle happened, it's not that foofy. There's a science behind it, but we're seeing that payoff, and we can absolutely track that into next year that are happening.
That's amazing. Well, you stayed very disciplined towards really for your part of it, keeping the funnel full, making sure you're managing costs as well, but being strategic about strategic partners, networking intentionally with a purpose, and marketing, and those things have paid off. Anything else with business selfishly? Anything else with business coaching that you would say you think is a real bonus or positive?
It's some of it's a little foofy, but and I've been telling my wife and my friends too, the amount of networking I'm doing, it's fairly controlled at this point because it's part of our plan, right? Like at least I'm gonna at least be at 4 networking things a week. It's probably 6 to 7 for me because that's my primary role. Um, but I'm around good, like-minded. What I mean by that is some of the stuff that we've gotten that's for next year, it it's not like I came and did business networking with you or coaching and I got 10 new customers. No, I met other people who were doing the same, but they had customers and they're like, my customer needs to talk to you. So they connect us. And same with the networking stuff. I didn't walk in and just find customers. I started forming strategic friendships with good people. Like I come home at the end of the day and my heart's full. These are good folks busting their butts and they're reliable. I can refer them to my customers and I know they're going to get taken care of. So that's kind of those partnerships have started to form and we've gotten work out of that. So that goes back to the foofy side. It's not just having a job and making money. It's coming home like, man, I met so and so, and they're the coolest people. We have this in common and that in common. And you've met my wife. She comes to networking events with us in the evenings and stuff. And it's fun. You get to know people and care about them and go into the mindset of what can I bring to the table for you? Well, guess what? The flip side is that it comes back around, right? But being able to put back in gives a little bit more purpose and then it just comes full circle.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I love your mindset about that too, because if we go in with the right attitude and the attitude is actually helping other people and you get to meet cool people, that's a lot different than, oh crap, I got to go network and try to find some business.
Yeah, if you go try to sell something like, dude, I'm strapped, I need cash and how, let me do this, nobody's gonna buy, right? But if you go in and you're like, man, how can I help you today? And oh, I know somebody that needs your services. They need to talk to you, and that's kind of really how it comes together.
That's awesome. Can you tell me about like some cool system you put in that you like you were really jazzed about?
Yeah, so we all have that customer after a while that just is like, do what you would do if you could, which those are real.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, on the residential side, we've got a guy that, he does well and him and his wife are super sweet. We go to dinner and all this stuff, but we did his house and his car condo and his office and his ranch and the Austin house, but he has his theater is on most of our marketing information just because
Okay.
it's all like custom acoustic treatments with LED lights in there and a starlit ceiling and the screen I had always wanted to do and automated shades and curtain and it's you say I don't want to say the name because turn on movie time and shades close and the screen comes down and the drapes close and shooting stars start and the projector turns on and it's kind of like you said, there's a sense of fun about it. That's a lot of work and a lot of programming and all this stuff. But if the end result is to tell blah, blah, blah to do something and then it all just comes to life, that's a really rewarding feeling.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, and I'm like with my wife and I'm sure there are guys like this too, but how do you turn this thing on? And if you can just tell your virtual assistant person with the A to do it for you
I,
and everything closes and it's all ready and it's rocking, that's freaking cool.
yeah. So if you remember, one of the first things we did was try to define our unique sales proposition, right? And I struggle with
Yes.
that because I'm going, anybody who does what we do at this level, they're certified. They know what they're doing. They're this, they're that. But it kind of speaks to what you were just saying. Ours ended up being, oh, I'm going to kill it too. Hold on. Let me see what, because it's a little longer. But basically, it's about providing the highest technology that's easy to use for our customers who deserve it. So these things and these systems can come across as very intimidating to the average person. So our goal is for your, your elderly parents to be able to come in your house, grab the iPad and say, oh, living room TV on and it turns on. One button press.
Yes.
picture based. It's high tech on the back end, but you don't need to know that. We want it where everybody can use it very easily. Another thing that I like about, I started out loving speakers and all that, but this is so much more now. The automated lighting is really cool, automated shades, but there's also a safety aspect to it also. So most of our systems have geofencing capability. So these are things that maybe if you're building a custom home, you don't care if you have automated lighting until I properly explain it, right? Oh, I don't care if I tell the lights to turn on, they turn on. Understood. But would your wife like it if she was coming home from work or the grocery store or you, and it's dark, and when you get within a quarter mile of your house, 10 lights turn on for 10 minutes or whichever ones you want every time?
Yeah.
Because of the technology, you don't have to tell it to do anything. We set it up for you. We can remote in and create that scene for you. But it's utilizing the technology that's already happening to your system, thereby creating a safer environment. What if you pulled into the driveway and somebody's, following you or something? I mean, God forbid, and it's dark,
Yeah.
but the lights turn on automatically. You never go into a
Yes.
house again, right? So, I mean, I'm a almost 6 foot tall, whatever dude, and I don't like going into a dark house. I mean, what's going on? Especially if I watched a crazy movie.
Yeah.
So, what if it just came on for me? That's a good safety feature that not everybody knows about.
That's amazing. Yeah, high tech and easy to run is a killer combination. Okay, so I want to ask you now. It was speed round. I got 3 questions for you,
That means don't talk.
and then we'll no. That's good.
I'm
I
like
like
ready to
this.
hit the
So
buzzer.
I call it speed round, but really it's no faster than any other questions I've asked you. But I like to call it speed round
Okay.
because okay. So here we go. Number 1. If you were an animal, what animal would you be?
Toy poodle.
A toy poodle. Okay, I haven't heard that one. Can you tell me why?
We have toy poodles, and they're like the sweetest thing. They're always happy
And they
to
make
see
some
you.
noise
They're
too.
always loving that you're home. So yeah, a toy poodle.
And just like you could be picked up and carried around too.
That's right. Yeah, that happened. Ben carries me around all the time.
Okay, and then what do you want to be when you grow up?
I don't want to grow up.
Oh, that's a great answer. Yes.
I'm just being.
I like that a
I
lot.
want to be happy.
Wonderful. Last question. What do you want to be remembered for?
Honesty, integrity, and humor.
Nice. I think you'll be safe with those. I think you're pretty safe.
We'll see. There's probably some other stuff too that I didn't ask for, but maybe earned.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but if you got those 3 in the mix, it's a pretty good mix.
Yeah.
So KMR AV, I'm telling you, folks, if you want crushing audio, great video, and just expertise with automation, home automation, or a massive video wall in your bar, these are your guys. And Matt, you and your partner Ben, just great people, salt of the earth, do anything for you. This is what makes my job fun. I'm blessed to work with just incredible clients, and you're one of them. And I'm thankful for you.
And you as well. We're out every time we run into each other, which is usually a couple times a week. We're like, hey, dude, it's like seeing a buddy. It's just awesome. So thank you for all you're doing, and for everything that is paying off.
You are so kind. It's so rewarding, and I'm so glad to see you just continue to succeed more and more. I really appreciate your time today. That was a blast.
Thank you, bud. I appreciate it.
Cheers. Matt May, what a guy. I love business owners that are humble, that want to learn, that are constantly seeking wise counsel. And he's one of those guys. And really that have a quality install and quality customer experience. That's such a big deal. That's KMR AV. And here's the thing. If we actually go out and network, because I think the networking conversations are super important. We go out and network with positive intent and really to help people, we'll get good connections, and they'll turn into good connections. And that's why I have really, really cool clients, quality people introducing other people to quality people. It's also nice to hear that he has had success with coaching, and he's growing his business and being intentional on keeping the pipeline full. Such a great thing to keep focused on. At the end of the day, if you're not selling,
on a regular basis, eventually you're going to run out of business. So anyway, great guy. I love that interview.
Liked what you heard? Let's make it real. Schedule your free coaching session today at sugarland.actioncoach.com.